Well, hello everybody. It's been a while since I put a video up, but I just recently got the new Evic Supreme. And this isn't going to be a full-fledged video, a full review or anything. I just want to share a few things that have actually seemed to not be mentioned in any of the other videos yet. And if you really want any super crazy detailed description and features of this, Phil Basardo's going to be posting a video within the next week, and you know how he does his videos. There'll be nothing left out, so you can look forward to that. What I really just want to go over in this video is just some of my dislikes and likes that I just haven't really seen mentioned in any of the other ones before. This is a 30 watt mod. Goes from 0 volts to 6 volts. It only takes a 18650 battery. There's your button back there. Hopefully you can make that out. Little USB cover. That is the most annoying cover I have ever come across. I cannot tell you guys how many times I've picked it up, looked for a button, pressed against this, and continue to press against it, wondering why it won't fire. It is nearly the exact same shape and everything as this button. Drives me crazy. But yeah, that can easily be pulled out and you won't have to worry about that issue ever again. It's your bottom cap. You have your little Joytech logo down there and the venting. I mean, looks wise, to me, I think it looks pretty nice. I like the nice crisp lines. A lot of it you probably won't be able to see. I mean, my video quality sucks. One of my gripes, and excuse the dirty hands, I've short day at work, been painting, I got black paint stuck on them. But anyway, one of my gripes is this ring here. While it clicks nice and feels nice, it's not sharp to the point it cuts you, but it just feels like in those grooves right there, just a little rough. It feels almost gritty if you rub your fingers across, and it's like that on every single one. I'm hoping over good length of use, because I do plan on keeping this mod for a good time, because I actually really like it, and I'll explain why in a minute. But hopefully that'll smooth out over time. Now you can see everything's flush up there, and you would think, oh yeah, I might be able to flush mount an Addy on this. That's what you're gonna get. If you can see that gap there, and it's just not with some Addies. I have put at least 50 different Addies on here, and they all have a gap. Even I think the Russian 91% is the one I have with the shortest. And I'm glad this happened right now, because I was going to get into this later. You see how that came up? If you guys seen any other videos or read the description, you do know it has a replaceable 510 ego threaded adapter here. Well, problem with that is sometimes it'll just unscrew when you're taking off a mod, or when you're taking your Addy off. And I don't know, I guess the idea was kind of good, but I don't understand why making a replacement one and not just improve the quality of the built-in one and just make it solid stainless steel. I mean, regardless, if someone drops a mod with the Addy on it, directly on the Addy, it doesn't matter if it was the Evic, Provari, or what, you're going to have some damage to the threads. And a lot of people put a lot of fault on the Evic that really wasn't the old Evic's fault. And this fix, I think, is more of a step back. It's annoying to have to pretty much screw that back down. So far it's been happening. I try to tighten it down as tight as I can, and it still happens. I don't know, 1 out of every 5 times. And but it's non-adjustable. You're gonna get a gap. which is, I mean, for a mod like this, I guess it's not terrible. And I'm holding out, and Joytech has to release a replacement one of these that is spring loaded or has an adjustable pin. They have to. I mean, I can't fathom them not wanting to do that. It's especially nowadays, everything has that sort of option in it. So that's one of my gripes. This ring is another. Now I do like, you give it, you gotta kind of be patient with it, but if you give it 3 nice clicks, it'll just keep going. It never speeds up faster, but it will continue to go because it does get really annoying. I didn't know it did that at first. And it does get really annoying trying to click, 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 click. It's the feature that it goes all the way around is nice. I don't know. I kind of like being able to just hold it and go. But or do the quick 3 bump bump bump. It doesn't, with this you can't do it fast. You gotta click, click, click. And it click, click, click. And see, and it doesn't, it's supposed to be 3 clicks. And it's supposed to do it. So it's kinda iffy. I find, see if I go halfway around, it'll do it. And I believe it does it all the time if you just make a full half a rotation. Yeah, if you make a full half a rotation and just ignore the 3 clicks, you should be alright with the, well, at least it does it the other way. And yeah, and this is kind of another gripe of mine though. It's real inconsistent with trying to get it to auto scroll. So yeah, sometimes it's just luck of the draw with the auto scroll. I mean, I've only been using this for, what, 2 days now, and I have yet to find a reliable way to get it. I mean, it seems some speeds work, some speeds don't. It's just, I can get it to go left. It's just go down. It's just going up. There we go. You kind of got to be patient with it. Don't twist it too fast. That kind of bothers me. This thing does have a nice straight flat DC current though. It'll put out 30 watts to a 0.5 ohm, 30 watts all the way up to 1.2 ohm. You'll get your dead on solid 30 watts. Anything above that, you're restricted at 6 volts. So, and once you hit 1.2 ohm, 30 watts is 6 volts. So anything above that, you're really not going to be able to go any higher. Which, to be honest, 1.2 seems to be on the pretty much the max of what I vape most of the stuff anyway. And even that, I tend to not do 30 watts. Build quality, like the tubes feel nice, everything feels nice. This plastic piece right here, this kind of concerns me. This feels like a really soft plastic. This plastic feels really similar to this, and I am not impressed with the how solid that is. I am a little concerned about that. I wish they would have, I don't know, made it thicker, had steel back here, and then a window here instead of making this whole section plastic. And maybe you can see, I doubt you can, but you can see almost how it's stretched out a little bit right down there. It's almost like it's press fit down, and I don't know what they have going on behind here, if there's any extra support holding that in, or if this plastic tubing around it is part of the support. And if this is part of the support, I that kind of worries me. But I don't really like the fitment of it. It's clearly press fit. You can almost see how it sticks out. It widens out to where it's pressed on right there. The top doesn't really have that issue. It's just the bottom down here. I mean, those are just a few minor things, and if this thing wasn't $150, $160, I could live with it. If this was kind of like in the $70, $80 range, those things wouldn't have even been brought up. It wouldn't have even been a concern to me. I could have easily lived without the floating pin, but this is an expensive deal, and if you can live with those things, though, this is an incredible device, and it does one thing. Hopefully I could show you real quick. It does one thing that I have not seen any other 20 watt plus device do, and this thing will regulate down. If by some chance you have, what do I have? I believe this is, let's see, 0.7 ohm. So to get 18 watt and a 0.7 ohm, now this is a fully charged battery, 4.18 volts when I took it off the charger, and on a DNA I would not be able to go that low. And what we'll do is, actually I think I would be able to get that on a DNA 20. I know I would not be able to get under 12 volts on the DNA 20, because actually that's what I tried earlier, or 12 watts. And see, the limit here is 3 volts. At DNA 20 I generally will get, I think, what is it? I was getting, for a full battery on the DNA 20, I was getting about 3.6, 3.7 was the lowest that it would give me for the 7 ohm. Now this is, it's set, it says 3 volts in there if it'll focus. There we go. So it should give me 3 volts, 0.7 ohm load. And we'll fire it up. 2.97 volts. Okay. So you could think maybe that's just what it's going to give me all the way. So I'll bump it up to 14. We'll just do 15 watts. Keep it square. Oh, now it's going to auto rotate when I don't want it to, after I made a mess of it earlier. So it says it should give me 3.24 volts. Hopefully you can. 3.24 volts. .18, and it's, this thing's pretty darn accurate. It's never more than 0.1 off. I've been pretty impressed with the accuracy of this. And I'll take it up. We'll go to 16.5, and it's supposed to give me 3.39 volts, so 3.4 volts. So it's 3.27, so that's a little more than 1 off there. 3.28, 3.27. Yeah, and it's supposed to give me 3.39. Let's see what happens. I'll bump it up. Now it's supposed to give me 3.4. Let's see what happens there. So that, I guess that 0.01 made a difference, because now it's about giving me the 3.4. So I'm getting 3.37. So yeah, and it'll go through all, I mean, I guess a lot of you might not care, but and there's auto rotate. See, I don't like that one bit. I don't like how it does the auto scroll on this. 3.62. 3.58. And a lot of you might not actually care whether it regulates down. But there are times, like especially at night, I don't really want to vape super heavy, and I don't feel like making a high coil, so I can utilize this, and it's really impressive that I can turn this down and get the lower voltages and stuff. And this does, you can set voltage if you want. I just kind of like using the wattage mode for the simple fact that if I do want to crank it to 30, I can get to 30, because if you use voltage mode, the math won't equate right. So if you set it, since it does 0.1, you might set it, it might only let you go up to, let's say something, the limit might be 6 volts. You'll set it to 6, or no, let's say once you hit 5 volts, it's at 28.8 watts. But then if you go to 5.1 volts, it'll bring you over 30 watts, so you get stuck at 28.8. So I just leave it in wattage mode. It gives you a little more fine tuning than you would have in voltage mode. I mean, this is just a little bit of a rambling video, but again, let me go over my negatives real quick. This removable 510 connection up here can get a little annoying at times because it will come off with some of your addies if you don't have this thing tightened down really well. It does not have a floating pin, which I really hope they resolve. Hopefully you can, I guess you can't see that with that giant glare. But yeah, there's no floating pin, no spring-loaded pin or adjustable pin in any way in there, so you're going to have a gap. And like I said, I've tried about 50 different addies and had a gap with every single one of them. I don't like the feel of this ring right around those cuts. It's kind of gritty feeling. It's not sharp, but it's just kind of gritty feeling. It just, I don't know, it just has that feel when you go to turn it, and it just sucks that you have to touch that. I don't know, there's something really not, I don't know, something not nice about the feel of that. If they had that smoothed out, this part right here, and it felt like the rest in here, the finish here, wouldn't have a problem with it at all. It's not, I mean, it's not, nothing really rattles around on it or anything. All the threads are nice. And this, you know what? I didn't think I was going to have an issue with this. You see how the cap kind of, see if I can get it to focus and you guys can not look at my funky hands at the moment. You see how the bottom of this cap kind of has has that ledge there, and the diameter is small at the very bottom. That actually, I don't know, it seems to, with an addy on it, it seems to take away the stability of it. It kind of wants to, it becomes much easier to knock over. It's not, it doesn't sit as solid as I would like it to. It's not wobbly, but it takes a lot less to knock over than, let's say, my elevator, which is the same 23 mil diameter, but it's completely flat on the bottom, and it's just, put it down, it's solid as a rock. It doesn't do that little shaky deal. That kind of bums me out. Everything else, you know, if you can live with those negatives, this, just my opinion, and I do own a DNA 30 device. I own a couple DNA 20 devices. Performance wise, I mean, this puts out more accurate numbers, which I'm not saying makes this better than the DNA 20 at all, or DNA 30. I'm just saying it's more accurate. Sometimes it's when I do like that extra little kick the DNAs give, but that doesn't bother me one bit. Sometimes this can be a little more accurate, but when you start getting into the .01 changes, that kind of seems to throw it off every now and then. The power wise, this thing just vapes. And you set 30 watts or something, and that's what I've been vaping that Quasar 0.7 at 25, and I haven't been missing the mech at all. Works perfect every single time, always fires. Battery life seems pretty darn good even at those compared to a couple of my DNA mods. I'm pretty impressed with that. Yeah, and I just wanted to, like I said, I just wanted to point those few little things out that I haven't seen mentioned too much. Threads are all good. Now I'm repeating myself. There's one more thing I'm forgetting, and hopefully I'll remember while I'm rambling here. No, I can't really think of it. All batteries work fine. Anyway, so this is what the Evic Supreme looks like when you put something on it. You got your gap there. Now you can, some stuff you can back this off and kind of flush it up. I don't know if this is something that they thought of. Maybe this is part of their feature. because there is just a part with no threads there where you can kind of pull that up and you just get your little lip there, and you just have a non-threaded part there. That might be their intention. I really don't know. And it's, once you back it up against that, I mean, it's nice and solid in there. It does kind of, my opinion, makes it look better. So you can always do that. And you know what, that's all I got. There was one more thing that I actually think was fairly important, and I can't remember it right now, but I don't want to drag this out anymore. I don't know. I definitely recommend picking one of these up, though. Given the replaceable 510 connection, I do believe that's going to be an issue going to be resolved. This is, the feeling of this is just me being nitpicky. Everything else is just rock solid with this device. 30 watts. I don't even care about the My Vapor Store stuff. Straight out the box, not even hooking up to a computer. This has become, I mean, I love this thing. The size, it's big. It's not really, I mean, it's similar in size to the Sigelli 20 watt. Just, oh, one more thing. This, it's going to happen. You're going to see it. See how that, right back up again. It's, drives me crazy. That's what, the only real thing that's killing it for me. I got to find a way to get that in there better. But, the resistance reading on this thing is extremely accurate. Everything I put on there, I'm getting the same reading on here as I get with my own meters, which the Sigelli 20 watt was always off. DNA seems sometimes be on, sometimes be a 0.1 higher. Those damn DNA clones are anywhere from a 0.2 to a 0.5 higher on certain stuff. I don't know. Those things are. I already got one of those and I already pissed me off. Anyway, that's enough. So this is the Evic Supreme, rock solid device, worth it, in my opinion, worth the money. This gives the same vape performance of those $250, $300 DNA 2030 mods out there. I like all the info on the screens. Get the battery, the cable. I mean, this is basically a full starter kit. That's another thing that I don't see a lot of people taking into account. When you buy an Evic, you're basically buying a mod, a battery, a charger, all in one package. So $150 is not a bad deal. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Sorry there's been so much time between my videos. Hopefully I'm going to start putting a little more out. I got freaking tons of stuff sitting here waiting for me to share some info on that should be seen. Anyway, thank you guys again. Have a good day.